So does that upfront information reduce the transaction time? No. Hi, good afternoon, LinkedIn, and welcome to A Conveyancing Professional. This is where we want to discuss topics within the industry, give you our views, and whether you decide whether you agree with us or not, obviously in the comments below. So this week we're talking broadly about transaction times, but actually in isolation, commissioning upfront information, does that have a real impact, a material impact in reducing the overall transaction time from start to finish? And I think generally, this is not news as far as we've seen probably a 2.5-fold increase in transaction times. I think in my 26-year history within the industry broadly, it wouldn't be unreasonable to say it's probably gone from circa 8-10 weeks to, well, whatever we are at the moment. And it's confusing, isn't it? Because effectively we've got better tech, we've got better AI, we've got better communication, we've got portals, we've got mobile apps, we've got text message updates, we use WhatsApp. Yet we're still going in the wrong way. We also have associations, we have committee groups, we have discussions left, right and centre, yet it still goes the wrong way. And very much in the spotlight, unfortunately, is the legal industry, the conveyancers. And I think estate agents probably make a very good point. Every time we have a stamp duty deadline, we have a nasty tendency within our legal profession to take to social media to explain how well we've done, how we've managed to get X number of people through in no time at all. And then post stamp duty holiday, it all goes back to normal. And the estate agents are sort of sitting there scratching their head saying, well, why aren't we always doing that? Why aren't they, why don't conveyancers always be able to achieve what they've been able to achieve in the stamp duty holidays? And it's a good question. It's one difficult to argue. Obviously, we've just been through the government consultation, and inevitably we seem to be going down the HIP 2 type route or auction pack type route. So effectively, we're going to bark on and say, okay, we need to go and create more information. And this information can then be assimilated out to lots of people. So why don't I think information upfront makes a real difference? Because I think from our perspective, information in isolation doesn't mean very much. Information that has action and intelligence applied to it actually can make a difference. But the facts are that we don't seem to be able to get that together. And I also think when we think about information generally, what does that upfront information generally look like currently? Well, pretty much it means we go off, we get the property information form, we get the fixtures and fittings list, we get the client information form completed by them. We may get some warranties and guarantees, etc., and then we sit on it. The facts are it doesn't take people very long nowadays to be able to get that information to us. I had a client probably no more than last week that was able to achieve that in less than 45 minutes. Maximum, as far as getting contract out is concerned, is probably a 3-day period. So having that information up front is not going to, as I said, make a material difference to the transaction time. I think generally there are 3 things that needs to be focused on. And this is a big year for conveyancing, and this is what we're going to be doing. So firstly, I think there's a back to basics approach necessary for our industry generally. I think it's a back to basics from the perspective of get it right first time. We are such in a mad rush to be able to tick a box and say that we've achieved a task, but actually only completing half that task doesn't mean that the transaction is going to go forward. Get the contract out, but get the contract out in its entirety, making sure that we do get all the information off the customer up front. It's not all to follow, because we know we're going to get our questions about it. So why not just get it done first time, get it done right, get it out to the other side, rather than this backwards and forth exercise that we get stuck within a loop. There's the second part of this, I think, is yes, it absolutely need to get the information collated. We need to commission the information. And I don't think it's just about getting the vendor information. I think it's much more than that. There's a huge data set available now online, and we should be using technology. And actually, there's an awful lot of information that's probably tied up within the local authority. And actually, do we commission searches at the point of instruction? The answer is, I think we do. But once we get the information, there's no point in just sitting there. What we've got to do is apply intelligence and action behind that information to be able to ensure we get the property conveyancing ready. Not just the contract out ready to go, but actually far more than that. And it's about controlling what we can control rather than worrying about things we can't control. This is our theory and what we will be forging ahead with. And the third part behind is, I think, is conveyances generally and the legal profession. We have case management systems for good reason, and there's some very good case management systems out there. But the facts are we have this tendency of going through the same process for every single property. So it doesn't matter whether you've got a vendor yet to find, it doesn't matter we've got a 15 persons in 15 links within the chain, or if you have a cash buyer with a vacant possession, there is a tendency within our industry currently to be able to take them through the same journey in exactly the same way, with tasks that are all timed, that red and amber and all that stuff that goes with it. And we don't seem to be able to empower our lawyers to make informed judgments on what to go for first. Well, the facts are, if you've got quick wins within your pipeline, then you should take advantage of them. If we've got a deadline that we're working to, then that should be prioritized. If we've got a cash buyer with a vacant possession that we can get through quicker, then that will make a difference with regard to the conversion of pipeline. Anyway, that's our 3 steps with regard to what we think we can make a difference with regard to the transaction time. Again, you might agree, you might disagree. That's your privilege, and we'd look forward to seeing your comments below. But to recap, 3 things. Back to basics approach, get it right first time. Absolutely commission upfront information, but don't just commission it, do something with it and apply the intelligence necessary to be able to get the full contract and details and profile the property. And then third stage is don't deal with all properties in exactly the same way. Let's see if we can do this better and prioritize the properties that can go through quickly while we're still working on the other ones. Guys, thank you very much indeed for your time. As I say, look forward to your comments.